after 7 o'clock, and joining us on the phone this morning, we have Michelle Garcia Holmes joining us, of course, Republican candidate for U.S. House of Representatives, representing Congressional District 1. Good morning, ma'am. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on today. It's a great day. We're in Lincoln County today, so
in the
weather's
cool
beautiful.
pines up there, and getting to experience a little bit cooler, the cool part of South New Mexico here. So
the kind of cool part of my district, other than, of course, your area, Chavez County, is a really cool area.
Yeah, well, temperature-wise, they got us beat. It's always, every time we get something and it's like 100 degrees here, and then we look in Ruidoso and it's like 85. We're like, man, why can't we be up there today?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was referring to your aliens. We got
plenty of them.
You have aliens.
We do have plenty of them. So,
yeah.
So we're just a hair over a week out here. I imagine your campaign's getting excited, but as far as the overall feel of the campaign things, how do you feel you guys are at right now, just looking at a week out from the election?
Well, you know what? They've kept my opponent in hiding. They haven't taken her out to the counties. I've been to all the county fairs, all the county parades.
Yeah.
I think because they just, they got nothing. They're on the wrong side of every issue. The economy is the number one issue, crime, the open borders, Biden's incompetence and out-of-control spending.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot going on, and the lack of energy independence, Mike.
Sure.
Oh, my gosh. It's just unbelievable. They just are making so many mistakes at a national level that people are actually seeing it now. I mean, people's 401ks have become 201ks.
Mm-hmm.
We're back to the Jimmy Carter days. And people are not happy on both sides of the aisle.
Sure.
And so people want change. They want someone who's going to go to Washington, D.C. and speak on their behalf and be very vocal about, our resources here. The oil and gas industry was third in the nation to help make America energy independent. So, look, we've got to make some better decisions at the national level. I mean, we can't be – why is Biden – why is he going to Venezuela, Iran, to go get
we should be begging other countries for gas. Yeah, we should not be begging other countries for gas. We've got plenty of it right here. It's it does baffle me every time I see that. Yeah.
Right, and gas prices are going to continue to go up. I mean, they're just holding them steady. He tapped into the reserves. He's put us in a dangerous position, nationally and globally by tapping into the reserves. And, China's looking at that. China is looking at that. And I think right after this election, we're going to take back the House, but I really see China stepping in and maybe invading Taiwan, and because of the weak position that Biden has put us in.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
Globally, I've never felt more nervous globally in this last year than I have almost since I was a child in Cold War days. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't think, because people are, they're going to the grocery store, they're paying more for eggs, milk, food products, anything. We still don't have baby formula back on the shelves. It's limited. It's sold in limited quantities. I mean, come on. We are the United States of America. This is ridiculous, the position that Biden, Pelosi, and my opponent, Stansbury, has allowed, and New Mexico is the jewel of the nation. Think about all of our natural resources, all of our culture, our history, our heritage, everything that we have here, our red and green chili, our aliens. I mean, just think about everything we have here. We've got it all. Balloon Fiesta. I mean, it's just no other place is like New Mexico, and we still remain under this dark cloud of being in last place.
Sure.
And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing that. I raised 5 kids here, worked as a law enforcement officer, commissioned for 30 years, worked on legislation when I was chief of staff, the Attorney General's office. I know personally we can do better.
I'm kind of curious.
We can do better.
Yeah, I'm curious with the because as a U.S. House of Representative, where and what your role is and what you do, how you represent New Mexico. One of the and you were talking about the Democrats and how it seems like they're kind of laying low on you and not really saying much, and I think nationally we can all see that Democrats have one platform, and it's the abortion platform. That's kind of what they're hanging their hat on right now, and to me, I would point out what you kind of said earlier. It's because they don't have an answer for economy, gas prices, all the things that people are really upset about right now. They're kind of have to own that because they're the ones who created this problem, and so they really can't defend it. So now they're using the abortion card as the way to kind of don't pay attention what the right hand's doing, see what the left hand, you know what I mean, kind of move. And Mike,
they're on the wrong side of that argument.
Yeah.
I mean, they call it, and it all, they always play, they're wordsmiths. They always play their word salad, wordsmith games. They call it women's full reproductive rights.
Yeah.
And basically what that is abortion up to a baby's date of birth. Third trimester abortions.
Yeah.
Can't we do better than that? Can't we do better than that? Can't we help these women and babies, healthy women, healthy baby? Can't we do better than that?
Sure.
There are only 2 other countries that abort babies.
Sure.
In the third trimester.
And you don't want to be associated with either one of them.
And you don't want to be associated with either one of them. I mean, that's horrific.
Yeah.
We are the United States of America. We are proud, flag-waving, conservative people of faith.
Sure.
I was raised Catholic. 40 days for life meant something to me. My dad, he'd have me out there in front of the church or on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian. I'm a woman of faith. This is the right side of that argument is, can't we do better for women, young girls especially?
Sure.
These are young women who still have a lot of life left, and they are living and regretting going and having abortions.
Sure.
And I really think we can do better. I've had so many women come to me, Mike, on the campaign trail, because I'm outspoken about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know abortion's going to exist. There's always health problems, rape, incest.
Sure.
Hey, I used to be a child abuse detective. I used to sit in the room with these children who had been, molested egregiously, and women who had been raped. So I get it. There are times when we have to apply common sense to this issue.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, do we really have to abort babies when there's a healthy woman, healthy baby in the third trimester? That's close to the baby's date of birth.
Yeah, that's
a viable baby.
That's a full body
so
in there.
Can we? Yeah, can't we just do it? Can't we just do it right?
Yeah.
And I think we're on the right side of this issue. And this isn't really the issue right now. I mean, when voters go to the polls,
that's the
they
point
are
I want
not
to make.
thinking about this.
Well, and that's the point I kind of want to make, because obviously you're running for House of Representatives. From a federal level, the issue's done. You know what I mean? It's
been pushed down to the states.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah.
You've got bigger fish to fry. But here's my other point I would make for people that are legitimately worried that New Mexico will make abortion illegal. And I'm thinking, think a little common sense. Regardless of who's governor, it does not matter, because the legislature is going to be the one that decides it, not your governor. And
the people. The people will be outspoken in deciding. Right.
And let me just, regardless of the results of this election next week, our New Mexico legislature is not going to turn conservative overnight. You know what I mean? Like
90 years, 90 years of Democrat-dominated legislature. No wonder we're 50th in education. Thank you very much.
Well, and that's my point is, abortion's never going away in New Mexico. I don't see it happening. I'm just being looking at the numbers, looking at everything. It's like this state will protect it because that's this legislature. So I'm thinking that, to me, abortion's not even an issue in the state of Mexico. It's going to happen one way or the other, I think. And so let's focus on the things we can fix right now. To be honest, like you said earlier, people aren't concerned about being able to get an abortion. People are concerned about being able to pay their bills right now. And so
making ends meet.
So,
I used to be yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
and
Sorry.
so I'm just saying that, to be honest, especially at your race, but pretty much every state race, unless you're voting for legislators, state house legislators, your abortion, the other votes don't really matter that way, because there's not really much they can do about it anyway. So that's my point. But
people right now, on the campaign trail, when we talk to people and we visit with people, and I visited with people all across the district, they say, "Where's Melanie Stansberry? She's supposed to be representing us." That's one of the number one things they say. She's absentee. She's not representing us. Well, the reason she's absentee is because she votes 100% with Nancy Pelosi. Check her record. 100% with Nancy Pelosi.
Gotcha.
She's voted to defund police. She voted against the Halt Fentanyl Act, which was, to me, crucial for a border state like ours. Halt fentanyl, something that was going to help law enforcement and border agents and DEA and local law enforcement. She voted against it. And she voted against New Mexico. When you think about all the overdoses that we have here and the issues we have with people who are drug addicted, she's not taking her job seriously. She's just a puppet for Nancy Pelosi, Martin Heinrich, and all of those far left radical liberals. Mike, I'm not a radical. I'm not a radical on, Republican. I'm a wife. I'm a grandma. I raised 5 kids here. I'm just one of these people who served in public service for many, many years and has looked at this and said, we can do better. What is going on here? And I come up with ideas because I have worked in the legislative process.
Sure.
And so one of the first things we need to do, Mike, is secure that border and give some relief to our border agents. Let them catch their breath. They're dealing with babies at the border. They're dealing with women who have been raped repeatedly, human trafficking at the border, egregious homicides, deaths at the border. And it's horrible what's happening at that border.
And they're using immigration as the cover behind it. So they're saying, oh, you don't believe in humanity and letting people cross. Meanwhile, they don't either. They're busy using that veil as to sex traffic and to transport drugs into this country, and they're using that as the crutch to get in. Yeah, and it's working.
Yeah, and it's wrong. It's wrong. I'm a compassionate person. I understand. My great grandfather was an immigrant. I totally get why people want to come to the United States of America. We all get it. We've all heard the reasons why people want to come here from other countries. They want to live the American dream. But at the same time, we've got to take care of the homeland. We've got to protect the homeland. There have been hundreds of people on the terrorist watch list, hundreds of people who want to hurt us, want to hurt our children, who have come across that border that have been, apprehended on the terrorist watch list. How many people have not been apprehended? How many of those bad guys that have come into our country have not been apprehended? There's been a 2,500% increase of sex offenders, Mike. Sex offenders. Our children aren't safe. It's terrible. It just the element that is coming across the border, we need to do things right. There are laws in place. We need to apply those laws. People need to come here legally. I just had a naturalized citizen tell me they just voted for me. They've heard me on the radio. They said, I just became a citizen. They registered me to vote, and I'm voting for you. I like your policies, especially on the border issues. You get it.
Nice.
I've been to the border. I've seen what's happened at the border. I've seen the drug cartels in action.
Sure.
Being a law enforcement officer, I worked undercover operations.
Too. Yeah. And like working the streets in Albuquerque, you see, after the cartel and what they've done, and see what's left on the streets and everything else when they get the supply here. It's so you've seen almost every, from the border side to the end result, just through your career and experience. I would think anyway.
Yeah, this is why when I became chief of staff at the Attorney General's office, I worked under the King administration. This is why I worked so hard to pass the first human trafficking bill. That just, I tell you, human trafficking is just something dark and disgraceful that is happening in America, and that needs to be tackled. And then especially at the border, the horror stories that I could tell you at the border. It's just egregious what's happening, and it's you know what's really wrong on all levels is that the president hasn't been to the border, and he visited New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris hasn't been to the border, and she visited New Mexico, knows it's
Just
the
last
border
week.
state.
Yeah.
Just last week, chumming up votes for these incompetent people. And you know, Deb Haaland came to the border, the cabinet secretary of the Department of Interior. Yeah, it came, you know, didn't go to the border, came to New Mexico, didn't go to the border. She's a cabinet secretary. She's the one who helped Biden shut down all those 36,000 land leases, hurting our farmers, ranchers, oil and gas industry. I mean, these people got to go. They got to go. I mean, it's time. And then my opponent hasn't been to the border. So, you know, I've got horror stories of things that have happened at the border, and they don't care. They have an agenda, and they're just getting after it. And to me, it's like I have an agenda when I get in there, and it's making our country safe, Mike.
Sure.
Making our country safe and bringing relief to people. Good, hardworking people. It's time. It is time we turn our economy around. It's time we secure that border and give our border agents some relief and some help. And it's time, you know, we take care of that crisis and help those people that are good people who want to come to our country and get these bad actors out. And prosecute them for crossing the border illegally. Prosecute these drug traffickers and human traffickers.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was watching. I got a chance to see bits and pieces of some other, I believe, Colorado debates, and I think it was some senators or I don't remember the positions, but I just caught bits and pieces, and it was very interesting. They got on the topic of border security. And to the candidates, they were all talking just about, you know, how much drugs come up through New Mexico because of, you know, and they're talking about the issues they're dealing with in Colorado and Utah. And they talk about that border and they talk about the unsecure border, and they mention by name New Mexico, you know, and they're coming up through.
Yeah, and this is something that has affected the Navajo Nation, you know, from one end of our state to the other. And you guys can see it too, because we've got highways and byways, north, south, east, west. And that is ideal for the drug cartel industry. North, south, east, west. They can funnel drugs into the United States, and we've got to do something about China. They're equipping Mexico with all the precursors to create fentanyl, and still we hear Joe Biden. I mean, he's too friendly with China. So to me, we have the north, south, east, west. We've got China coming in, supplying the precursors. They come across the open border. You know, the cartels come across the open border. And then distribution just expands all across our nation. That's why we have over 300 deaths a day. 300 deaths a day due to fentanyl.
Wow.
That's egregious.
And it's only going up from here.
That's equal to an airplane crashing every day. Would we do something about that in America? We would.
Absolutely.
You know, we'd step right on it. And they don't. This administration, they don't even think twice. Joe Biden's talking about all kinds of nonsense. My opponent isn't even visiting the community. She has no idea what's going on. The only thing she talks about is climate change. Hey, right now, the real crisis is the empty wallet crisis. I mean, the cost of living crisis, the cost of energy crisis. We're back in those Jimmy Carter days, and I have a feeling it's just going to get worse. After Election Day, I mean, people really need to vote wisely this year. Well, if you all are listening, if there's a Democrat listening, hey, guys, vote wisely this year. We got to vote to lift New Mexico up. We've got to vote to help our people here in New Mexico. We are poverty stricken here.
Yeah.
73% of our kids, Mike, are on Medicaid. That's just
It's sad.
insanity.
Yeah, it is.
That's sad. They go to bed hungry. That's another statistic that is just killing me. It's like food insecurity. The kids are going to bed hungry. That is not helpful for them to do well in school on a regular basis too. This is why I think we're 51st in the nation. It's, one of the reasons is we've got so much poverty. Kids aren't getting fed. I go without a meal and I can't even think straight. I mean,
well, and let's, just kind of, for people, like you said, the Democrats here, we look at this state and I'm thinking, you've seen the state, you've seen the history of the state. It's had liberal leadership since it's been a state and long before it's been a state.
Right.
The people that you have representing you outside the state, in the Senate and in the U.S. House of Representatives, obviously our governor and our state legislators, they're the ones that have to make this state good. As that's not the role of a senator or a U.S. House of Representatives to run the state. That's your governor, that's your House and state legislature.
Right.
And so, yes, they have the big task of getting these numbers up here. But at the same time, when you have your leadership that represents you in Washington not doing anything for you except for promoting whatever agenda they've got, that doesn't help this state either. I know like when like your counterpart in CD2, who's a Republican who's been running, she's been doing a lot of stuff to try to bring things here to go and to do. Whereas, and yourself as representative, that's what you're trying to bring growth, bring things to New Mexico, put New Mexico on other people's radars. And I'm asking you, the people in the past, have they done a good job of doing that? Because let me ask you, does it feel better than you were before? And that's my whole point of Democrat Republican right now. Is like, you've seen what they've given you for the last, I'd say 4 years, but I'd say pretty much lifetime of New Mexico. Does it look good to you? Do you want to keep giving them that same chance, or do you want to give people that might have different ideas and different angles to try to fix this? And that's to me, in a nutshell, that's what this election's all about. And it doesn't matter if you're voting for a U.S. House of Representative or a mayor or a governor, in the way I see it.
Well, let me tell you, I watched Alexis Martinez Johnson, who shares half of Chavez County. Well, she's got probably the lion's share of Chavez County. And you all got to vote for her too, guys. Y'all got to vote for her too. Her race is a toss-up. We're all running this horse race together. We're doing really, really well. People are making their decisions to vote. And I'll tell you, she's a smart one for that community. And you're spot on when you say, we've had this 80, 90 years of Democrat-dominated elected. They've also been at the federal level. So what is so wrong with giving, Republicans a chance? What have you got to lose? You're in last place, New Mexico.
Exactly.
You're in last. We have a last place problem. And so I keep saying, people like myself, Alexis, Yvette Harrell, we are all very good managers. We are all very good managers of taxpayer dollars too. And that's the problem that I've seen over the years. We get a lot of money funneling into New Mexico, and there's a lot of grant money, DOJ grants that we can get for law enforcement. And then once it gets into the hands of the Democrat elected, it's mismanaged.
Yep.
Look at Tim Keller in Albuquerque. He's totally mismanaged the homeless problem, the crime problem, and he's turned away $61 million of federal grant money that he could have had to help him work on the homeless issues in Albuquerque. So it's the mismanagement. That's what people have to really think about in this election cycle. Who's going to spend your money more wisely?
Yep.
Who is going to spend the money more wisely? And who's going to spend the money more wisely is Republicans. Yvette Harrell, myself, and Alexis, we can win this. And we're on the road right now with Mark Ronchetti. He's doing this 33 county on the road visit, and we're united in the counties that I have. And I'll tell you, that guy is a hard worker. He's gonna be a great governor.
He's got his work cut out for him. If he, assuming he gets elected here, he's gonna have to hit the ground running to get to work. He's got a lot. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's a lot to catch up. He's got to do.
Team.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We'll work as a team at the federal level. I'll be working with Mark Ronchetti, and I'll be sitting down. What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need? We have grants here. We have legislation we can work on. We're going to secure that border. Work with his strike force for funding. Definitely going to get funding for him for that strike force. I've already talked to him about it and on how we're going to secure that border and then start going after the drug cartels.
Well, I know just because I've talked extensively with our CD2 representative, Yvette Harrell, pretty often over the last couple of years. And I know for a fact she needs your help. For the last 2 years, her and her counterparts in D.C. have just been trying to kind of keep the walls from coming down kind of thing, for the last 2 years, kind of playing that stalwart, we're going to stop them wherever we can. Obviously Democrats have had the numbers and they can't stop them on a lot of things, but they fought tooth and nail and I've had exact conversations with her on this show saying, we need help on our side of the fence here. And so I'm thinking she's, her and this whole state are ready for yourself and Alexis Johnson to kind of join her so they can at least get some strength in numbers, which hopefully the way the national tide's turning, we might see the House get taken by the Republicans here. But it certainly won't happen if no one doesn't get out and vote here. So.
Right. I was just on a call last night with the NRCC, our House Leader McCarthy, Chairman Emmer, and Tim Scott. And I'll tell you, we're going to take back the House. We are going to take back the House. Mm-hmm. But what seats are going to be filled, we don't know yet, right? Sure. I mean, we'll find out November 8th here in New Mexico. But we're definitely going to take back the House, thank God, because, this administration needs to be held accountable. The spending is out of control, and who are we leaving that debt to?
Yeah.
This isn't a benefit for us now. This is what's caused the inflation, and I hope people understand that. The out-of-control spending by my opponent, who has voted for every bill alongside Pelosi, that Inflation Reduction Act was not an Inflation Reduction Act. It was an Inflation Production Act because it's only increased inflation by huge percentages, and it's a cost to the families, $3,000 to $6,000 more in your budgets yearly, $3,000 to $6,000. Who can afford that right now when gas prices are still, in the three? I saw. Well, here you guys have high gas prices in Lincoln County, Chavez County, because I've driven through there and filled our tanks.
Oh yeah.
But I just feel like, hey guys, look at the diesel prices because these are the people who are bringing you the goods, bringing you the food, and the diesel prices are still out of control high.
Wonder why you're paying. Why? That's why you're paying so much for eggs and milk and things at the grocery store.
Exactly. So they're just playing the shell game with y'all. They're playing the shell game, and it's wrong, and it's a disservice to good, hardworking American families. It's a disservice to these Americans who have, paid their dues, our veterans, our seniors, our retirees, our law enforcement. I mean, these are families that work every day, and then the cost goes on to you from the diesel prices. And this didn't have to happen. They chose this. This did not have to happen. This administration chose this. And so some of those things can be stopped once we take back the House. But in 2024, I'm looking forward to the 2024 election because we know Biden is not going to get reelected. We know Pelosi's going to be out. I mean, she's got some craziness going in her life right
everyone's
now.
tuning to the news. Her and her husband have been headlines for a month now between the DUI and the current situation that happened over the weekend, or last weekend, whenever it was.
And times are changing. I mean, look at Elon Musk took over Twitter. I mean, we've got some positives that are happening. You're going to see more tweets from me now because, these social media sites control everything we say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't we have the freedom of speech anymore? We've got no freedoms in America because look who's in charge. They took away our freedoms. Look at the governor, what she did during COVID. She took away our freedoms. She shut down our churches. I mean, this is egregious. We can't elect people like this anymore. They're like dictators. And that's what my opponent is. She's just living like a Washington, D.C. elitist, voting with Pelosi, not voting with New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And New Mexicans are suffering. We don't need people like that serving. We need people who are public service oriented and who are knowledgeable. And definitely Alexis Johnson, Yvette Harrell, and myself working as a team. I mean, we will turn New Mexico around very quickly, folks.
Absolutely. We're running short on time here, but for folks, if in case you haven't realized, you got about a week left of early voting. You got through, I believe, Saturday to early vote. And then if you don't early vote by Saturday, then you're going to have to wait till Tuesday and then in-person vote then. Or, of course, do your absentee ballots. But if you have any questions about that, I always tell you, go visit the Chaves County Clerk's office. They have amazing people that can help you navigate through any of that stuff. If you've got questions about your voter registration or questions about early voting or any of that stuff, they can. Or if you need to request absentee, I know we're getting a little behind the eight ball on that one, but they can help you navigate through all of that stuff. But please do not let next Tuesday pass without you expressing your opinion and voting in this upcoming election. You keep hearing things like your life depends on it and things like that. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I would definitely say there's a lot of important decisions that are going to be made in the coming year here. And if you want to say in who's making those decisions, this is your opportunity to do that. So please do not take this lightly. Please do your research. If you want to listen and hear more from Michelle Garcia Holmes, go read your website. Go look at social media. Go look at her track record. Go see what she's done and then make your decisions. That's and I'm sure she'd tell you the same thing. And matter of fact, she's going to tell you exactly where to go find that stuff.
That's right. You can go to Cast Your Vote. So it's votemgh.com. votemgh.com. It's let's go cast our votes, right? VOTE. MGH, my initials, MichelleGarciaHolmes.com. I'm the good Michelle, not the bad Michelle. And we're going to get the job done. We're just going to get the job done, folks. Think about it this year. You've got nothing to lose. We're at the bottom of the list. We've got a last place problem here that can be fixed. We've got open borders that can be dealt with and sealed. And we've got a drug crisis across our nation that, to me, I see it as a war.
Absolutely.
China's infiltrating in different ways, and look, they're doing it with fentanyl. And I see it as a war that we need to win. We need to be on the right side of that.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Democrats aren't going to do it for you. They've had their chance. They've had their chance, and they haven't delivered.
They've had the chance for 80 plus years. How they done for you?
Yeah. Is your wallet, how's your wallet doing? Is it thin? Yep.
Everyone that argues with me.
How are they doing?
Yeah, every person argues about stuff
on.
and they talk about, we need this. And I'm like, really? You see what we got right now and you've got what you're asking for. And is it doing what you want? No, it's not doing it, is it?
Exactly.
This is everyone that, if you're a liberal Democrat right now and they're saying that you got to vote out this and that, I'm like, you've had it for the last 2+ years and more than that in some cases. How is it working out for you? And that's the part and they can blame COVID, they can blame everything else on it, but I'm like, if it was handled differently by different people, we wouldn't be dealing with COVID the way we're dealing with COVID right now. We just wouldn't.
Exactly.
And I got to be honest, I think some of our financial issues. Now, I know this is a global pandemic and that's all impacted on all that, but in case you haven't noticed, the United States of America kind of dictates a lot of how the globe does things. And if we handle things our way, guess what the rest of the globe will start doing? Doing it the way we do it. I mean, yeah, there's going to be differences, but I hate to tell everybody, but we're kind of the trendsetters in the whole world here. When the U.S. starts it, that's it sets the tone for the rest of the world. It really does. And so
That's the
whatever we
truth.
do
Yep.
impacts the globe, and that's just how it works. So yes, your votes here in New Mexico impact globally, especially for your U.S. House of Representatives and senators and so forth. So please do your research, ask questions. Real quick, are you going to be in our neck of woods between now and next Tuesday at all, or any place that folks can come and meet you or talk to you?
I am, and you know what? I don't have the calendar right in front of me, Mike, but I'm going to text you once I get the calendar up, and I'll let you know
Perfect.
exactly what day we're going to be in
Okay.
Roswell. We're traveling with Mark a little bit here and there, and so I know we're going to be hitting Roswell soon, and so I'll text you the date, and I would love for y'all to come out and visit and talk with me, meet me face to face. I'm that kind of person. I love having conversations. Every conversation on this campaign has been a blessing to me, I'll tell you that. Just hearing people's stories, that's what has established my platform, is hearing people's stories and what they want. And the main thing I've been hearing is done with Democrats. We have a commercial out on some of the radio stations called Done with Democrats. And that's what I hear on the campaign repeatedly. A lot of Democrats are voting for me, crossing over, voting for me. And, I'm counting on us Republicans to get out in droves, come out like you did in the 2020 election. We did, just incredible numbers when I ran in 2020. And I want to see those numbers again. If that many people come out, and vote, we'll win this election. And you'll have a congresswoman that will come to your community, sit down, have coffee with you, and discuss the issues, and then go back to Washington, be your voice, and get the job done.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the time here, and we look forward to more conversations as a U.S. House of Representative down the road here with you. So,
well, thanks, Mike. God bless you, and God bless Travis County. We'll see you in Roswell very, very soon.
Thank you. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Michelle Garcia Holmes. Big thank you to her for spending some time with us. Go check out, do your research, and whether you're going to early vote here or wait till next Tuesday, please do your research before you go out there and vote. All right, it is